So going back in history to a remarkable person that you all probably know, but her story is not told right, and that is the story of Rosa Parks. Right, you know who she is, the woman who sat down in the bus in Montgomery, Alabama, December 1st, 1955, just refuses to get up for a white passenger and launches the modern-day civil rights movement. Right, she's arrested, and a few days later, there's a gathering in Montgomery, Alabama, of the Montgomery Improvement Association to support the boycott of the buses until they desegregate, and they elect a young minister who's come into town to be their leader, and he is Dr. Martin Luther King. Rosa Parks helps to launch Dr. Martin Luther King. When she died a few years ago, we raced to Washington for the big memorial service. She was the first African-American woman to lay in state in the Capitol Rotunda. And the media said Rosa Parks was definitely a great woman. She was a tired seamstress. She was no troublemaker. But Rosa Parks was a first-class troublemaker. They missed the story. She knew exactly what she was doing on that day. She had worked for it for years. In fact, she had done it many times before, but this was the magic moment. This was the time it took hold. She was the secretary of the local NAACP. She worked with the president of the NAACP, E.D. Nixon. He came out of radical labor politics, organizing the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, you know, the African-American train conductors who were so important in our history. He worked with A. Philip Randolph, who ultimately organized the 1963 March on Washington, and who, by the way, President Obama invoked when he was running for president in the backyard of a Montclair, New Jersey home. At the end of a question and answer period, someone raised their hand and said to Obama, what do you think about the Middle East? What has to be done? And he told the story of A. Philip Randolph, who was brought by Eleanor Roosevelt to meet with FDR. And A. Philip Randolph described to FDR the condition of working people in this country, the condition of black people in this country. And FDR said to Randolph, I don't disagree with anything you've said, but you've got to make me do it. Make me do it. And that's what Senator Obama, who was running for president, said to this man who asked him about the Middle East. Make me do it. Make me do it. Well, back to Rosa Parks. She knew exactly what she was doing. She trained at the Highlander Center in Tennessee to challenge segregation in the South. She trained with Dr. Martin Luther King. And this was a strategic move that she engaged in. The media denigrates activists, and that's what we have to challenge. It's activists who have made the world a better place, and what could be more noble. And the media has to give voice to the activists, young and old, of today. And to show how brave Rosa was, just go back a few more months to the summer of 1955, to the summer of Emmett Till, the 14-year-old African-American boy whose mom sent him south to be with his family to get out of the Chicago summer. And he was lynched. A white mob went to his family's house, and they pulled him out of bed, and he ended up in the bottom of the Tallahatchie River. And this is where I'll end. When his body was dredged up and sent to Chicago, his mother, Mamie Till, did something very brave. She said she wanted his casket open for the wake and the funeral. She wanted the world to see the ravages of racism, the brutality of bigotry. And thousands of people walked by his casket and saw. And then Jet Magazine and other black publications took photographs of his distended, mutilated head, and they published those photographs. And they were seared into the history and consciousness of this country. Mamie Till had something very important to teach the press of today. Whether we're talking about poverty in this country or we're talking about war abroad, show the pictures, show the images.